everybody, it's Aidan here once again, and welcome back to some Assetto Corsa, as it's time to do a mod review. And here it is, the brand new Formula Hybrid 2019 by RSS, or Race Sim Studios, if you insist on using their full name. Now back in 2017, RSS released their 2017 Formula Hybrid mod, which was based off the cars used in the 2017 Formula 1 season, and it immediately generated a distinct fanbase due to the way they interpreted the 2017 Formula 1 regulations. In 2018, they did the same thing again, producing another generic F1 car based off the 2018 regulations, and for the third year in a row, RSS has produced Formula Hybrid 2019, and the fan base and hype train for each release has grown exponentially over the last 3 years, as it seems RSS manages to outdo itself every single time. Now also notice I said that this is a generic F1 car, a spec F1 car. Since Codemasters has the exclusive rights to the F1 license, RSS has to design its own car to the rules and regulations dictated by the FIA to Formula 1 teams up and down the grid. So really, this is what it would be like if RSS entered a Formula 1 team. Other projects such as the Lanzo Lamborghini clone and the Formula V10 package are based off real cars, but this is a fully scratched design and is not meant to be a Ferrari, a McLaren, a Racing Point or a Williams, if you can call the Williams an F1 car. So, the fact that they have done things this way is beneficial on two fronts. The first is that RSS can be super creative with what they come up with, because money is no object, because they don't need to splash out on a wind tunnel, and I'm not sure what the going rate for carbon fibre is these days, but I bet it isn't cheap, and since there's no license attached, they can charge people for the privilege of driving it. But instead of going, it's this much and this is how much you have to pay, they've done a pay what you want system, with a minimum value of €3.99, which works out to around £3.44 I think, although you can do your own currency conversion. But if you think it's worth 20, 40, 100 euros, you can pay that if you want. Fuck it, pay them €640,852.36 if you want to, but you'd have to be very generous, rich or stupid to do so. But that lack of license means that the community will be able to show off its Photoshop skills by providing us with the real world liveries, such as this one, which is the Mercedes skin that lucked its way into a victory at Bahrain this weekend. And this has been resplendently painted by Dave Williams, who is a good friend of this channel, and annoyingly isn't a graphics designer by trade. But he does want to get more into it, so if you have a website, a company, or even an esports team that needs work doing, Dave is quite clearly someone to get in contact with. But before we get this thing onto track and do some driving, let's have a look at the model itself and get into the nitty-gritty of things from a visual standpoint, as RSS's attention to detail is beyond almost all other modding teams. So moving round to Le Front, we have the front wing. Now, this wing was widened and all the various aerodynamic appendages were binned to try and reduce the amount of turbulent air coming off the car. Now, this is a scratch-made model, remember, so this is not a Ferrari front wing, it's not a Mercedes front wing, it's certainly not a Williams front wing, because it works. And the nose itself appears to be a variation on what Mercedes are running this year, but looking at it, you're not going to go, oh yeah, that's a Mercedes rip-off. Moving around a little further, and the attention to detail continues. I'm going to have to go into free cam here, so if I just press F7, moving forward, we've got, oh, that's a bit too far, I'm not used to this, we've got this Superman cape thing, oh, there goes my iPad, running round the corner of the car. Now, this is all stuff that must have taken forever to model, and I have absolutely no idea how this all works in the real world, but one thing I did notice from watching another review of this car is if you zoom quite a way in, you'll see PSE written on every single piece of carbon fibre, which is really, really, really cool. So, yeah, like I say, it would take me forever to not only model this, but also to figure out how it all works in the real world. So I'm going to come back up and out, and we can look at the suspension geometry here, which is all new for the 2019 car. Looking really cool once again, zooming in. There's that detail on the carbon fibre. Just looking at the stuff here. Here we have the halo. Now, the halo is a little bit different for the 2019 car. I'm actually just going to abandon this script because, one, my iPad's about to run out of battery, and two, I can't look at the screen and at the car. So, we're just going to go with the flow here. The halo for this year, in the 2019 car, you're stuck with it. I know.
It looks shit. Halo, I don't like it. It looks shit.
But you can do what they do in the Codemasters games, where you can set the Halo's sort of central pillar, if you will, to be semi-transparent. So if you don't want to run with the full Halo, you can just go with it. Well, sort of have something close to what used to be in the sport. I like it. I don't even notice it's there anymore. Yeah, I've divided the room with that one. Moving along, got to remember to hold down the shift key. There's a steering wheel. Now this steering wheel is a real steering wheel. It's been designed by Precision Sim Engineering, which I think are based in the UK. And this wheel you can actually buy for your sim racing rig if you've got a direct drive wheel. I'll add now that this wheel is quite expensive. It's $2,500. That's almost $5,000 Canadian. It's probably about $500,000 Australian, but yeah, it's expensive. But it looks pretty cool. But would you really want all of these buttons to play a video game? Maybe. You know, each to their own. Looking at the old Halo here. Looking really cool. Coming back out. Going down towards the floor. As you can see with these modern Formula 1 cars, there's a lot of real estate here that they can play with. And so they've gone, right, let's try and channel as much air as we can onto the rear diffuser to get as much rear downforce as possible. And all of these slats and things like that are important. They have to be there to generate the air onto the rear diffuser. Now Lewis Hamilton, as we know, had a small chunk taken out of his diffuser around here. And people were going, well, yeah, well, he's just making excuses because he lost and Bottas beat him. But yeah, it was a tiny chunk. But remember in the 1997 Hungarian Grand Prix, Damon Hill in an Arrows was on course to win the race. But a small washer costing about 50 pence broke or failed. And he lost the lead to Jacques Villeneuve on the final lap. So the small things do add up. Move around the back. Got the rear wing. And we can see that on the rear crash structure here are these temperature stickers, which are animated and will change as the car heats up. I didn't know this until I watched Ferrari Man 601's review on this car, but that's a really cool feature. Again, that's that attention to detail. There's the big fucking exhaust, massive thing, which should give us a nice honk that the V6s have. And yes, I referred to it as a nice honk. Now, there's a button here that you can press to, okay, pressing 0 opens the DRS, the massive rear flap that we've got for 2019. I think it's one of these. I pressed something, what happened? There we go, that's just made the Halo go semi-transparent, there we go. But, oh, and we've got the extra kit on the Halo here. So we've got the sort of jagged windscreen thing that the Mercedes run, and a little bit of aero on the top. So that's pretty much it for the model. I'm going to come back out here and just show you some of the extra liveries that come with the car. I just wanted to show you the Mercedes because it just looks fucking brilliant. Dave's done a fantastic job here. But if I come back out, and then we've got a selection of liveries here. Pink one, a sort of Arrows livery, red and black, that looks pretty cool. That's my favourite, the navy and aqua one, and then all the way up to car number 1. So enough talking. What we'll do here is cut, and we'll go to Silverstone to test this car out. Now normally you'll see my first ever laps, but I've been enjoying driving this thing around all weekend, trying to see how it compares to the 2018 mod, so I've got something good to give you in terms of a review. So we're going to go to Silverstone. I'm going to bring up pedal cam. The red Converses are back. And yeah, let's go and see what kind of fun we're going to have in this thing. The model looks great, but does it drive great? Let's go and find out. Alright, so here we are at Silverstone, getting ready to go out. So we'll just have a quick look at the setup screen before we get out onto track. We've got some tyre warmers as well, which will keep the tyres nice and warm for us, obviously. And there's not much else to say about that. They keep the tyres warm. The tyre pressures need to be kept around 22 to work properly in this thing, which is quite a realistic thing to have. But we've got a selection of tyres from the ultra softs all the way up to the hards. We'll just leave them on the super softs for now. Fuel goes all the way from 0 up to 140, is it? 140. Electronics, we've got our MG UK delivery modes. I've done a video sort of talking about how the hybrid system actually works in these cars in Assetto Corsa. I'll leave a card for that if you want to learn more about it. But we've basically got charging, where we're just running on the ICU and the turbocharger. Then we've got balanced low, which is kind of like a low delivery, gives you a bit more power. Balanced high gives you a little bit more power still. Overtake, which gives you a bit of mid-speed boost to try and overtake the guy ahead. Top speed, useful for places like Monza, Bathurst, Le Mans, I guess, those sorts of tracks. And then party mode right at the end. So I'm just going to whack that on charging. Got the recovery rates, got the MGUH modes and the engine braking. Front and rear wing, basic stuff, because we've got basic front wing these days. Brake bias and brake power, the diff settings, lots of stuff to do with the suspension. Bump stops, don't know how that works. Steer assist, we're not going to do that, we're using a steering wheel. The visuals, so we've got the halo, we can have it semi-transparent or opaque. I'm going to leave it on opaque. And then we've got the sort of aero-y bit on the top, as well as that jaggedy screen. So I'm going to load up a baseline setup that I've been using just to get an idea for the car. There we go, the car's just hunkered down slightly. If I reset to default, you might just see, oh, it's probably not going to do it now. But yeah, we'll put the ultra softs on so we've got a bit of grip. Fuel, yeah, 50 litres, that'll be fine. And we'll just have a bit of a cruise. Probably hit first gear. Give it some jandle, and away we go. I think I stalled it, but oh well. Alright, here we go. So this thing turns on an absolute sixpence. The front end grips for days immediately out of the box. Let's bring on someone into straight that can put the DRS. You can see DRS there above my gear indicator. Braking the Brooklands. Back end quite twitchy. So quite reminiscent of how the Mercedes is in real life. Throw it into cops, one turn, flat out, beautiful. So it's running on balance low, no hybrid deployment really. DRS again. ERS is the green bar, that's the power we've got over the course of the lap. No, it's not. Ignore me. Let me just... I'm never really looking at it, so let's just see what's what. Go for a lap. Right, so my mistake, the blue bar is your ERS deployment for the lap, and then the one on the right, sorry, the left is your normal magical hybrid go juice. So I'll put it onto balance low now, give it some DRS, and you can see that we're going quite a bit faster already. Start taking some more racy lines with some of these corners. One thing I would have liked to have seen is that when you do manually deploy your ERS I would have liked a light to come on somewhere. This baseline setup not quite suited for taking cuts flat out. Got that all wrong. But if I press the headlight button, got my tyre pressures. So I need to turn the tyre pressures down slightly. Yeah, that's left front getting a bit over pressure, so I'm going to be losing a bit of grip. Trail braking is definitely something you need to do a lot of in this car. But it is so easy to drive. The baseline setup is very good out of the box. One thing I've had to get used to in these modern cars is the whole concept of rake, where the rear is much higher off the ground compared to the front. Try and get that air to go through the rear diffuser. I'm so used to running my cars quite low. These modern cars have a different way of working. Oh, bit of a lock up into turn 3. Going for the late apex into turn 4. Go on, get turned in, you know you want to. And I haven't even started manually deploying the ERS yet, which we'll do on the next lap. And I'll try and commentate on it. These sound cutouts are starting to annoy me. It's only happened since I've updated to the latest version of OBS, so if anyone's got any hot fixes for that, please let me know. Right, deploy all the ERS here. So a single deal, holding down the manual, deploy all the way through turn 1, all the way through turn 2. Hard on the brakes for turn 3, clip the apex on the inside. 4th gear down to 3rd for the next pass. Manual deploy again, you can see it, the amount of hybrid deployment by that blue bar on the left hand side. Worried about my magical hybrid go juice here. Lift off the cops, flat out, just keeping within track limits. Slacking off the anti-roll bars here. sounds are incredible as well. Got that sort of realistic honk to them, and you'll hear the proper sounds of the V6 hybrid in it when we do the sort of the hot laps at the end, where I'll show you my fastest lap that I've done in this car. Trying to get some charge back into the old just dragging the brake to try and get some energy recovery, because I haven't got a button set to being able to charge. No, I don't. So even with quite a lot of fuel on board, I'm doing a 128.8. So yeah, actually what we'll do is give you some external camera action here. Probably can't hear that, but yeah, anyway. Oh, that's a good shot there. Yeah, I like that. Stop. So this has been the RSS Formula Hybrid 2019 car from RSS, and it looks fantastic. It drives fantastic. It sounds fantastic. There's the flashing rear lights on the car. Brilliant. Love it. So yeah, until next time, I've been Ada Millward. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more mod reviews and my quest to see how fast this thing will actually go around Silverstone, be sure to subscribe and get the bell notification thing on as well. And if you want to support me at a more personal level, like these lovely people, you can join them by going to my Patreon, which will be on the end card thing at the end of this video. Look at the lighting on that. Fantastic. And once again, Dave's fantastic work with this Mercedes. He's also done the Ferrari, another good looking car. In the sim, I guess. So, yeah, that's it. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.